Products featured in today's video were provided by Mattel for the purposes of this review. Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and today we're going to be taking a look at Masters of the WWE Universe Wave 2 from Mattel. That's right, my friends, we are on the second wave of these figures. They are hitting store shelves right now, and this particular wave has got some really exciting ones, including Rey Mysterio doing his best Stratus impersonation, Macho Man Randy Savage as Macho Man at Arms, basically. This is one I've been very excited for. Really cool stuff. We've got Fakir John Cena. Self-explanatory. He's blue. He's like Fakir. And then we've got Roman Reigns, the heroic big dog, which I think is kind of like a Fisto. And you'll see why once we get him opened up. So I've had a lot of fun with these. I think this is a really fun crossover. Being a fan of WWE, being a massive fan of Masters of the Universe, it's like two of my favorite things merged together. And I think these are just a lot of fun. These have been really fun toys. The packaging's featuring that same very cool, I love the colors used on the artwork there. You can see the laser rope ring in the background, the exploding bricks that feels very much like the vintage Masters of the Universe line. And then when you rotate each of these boxes around, they continue that vintage Masters look with the cross cell there. You can see it's all illustrated on the bottom. It's even got like the illustrations showing you the action features, which mostly is just like removable armor and posability. They don't have like actual action features like the vintage toys, but it's still a neat little nod to that original line with those little cross cells there. And then up at the top above that, we've got some absolutely beautiful new artwork of all of the characters, which again feels like a throwback to the vintage Masters line. In fact, they are absolutely mimicking some of the poses seen on vintage cardback artwork or vintage mini comics, which is so very cool. I love that Fakir John Cena doing the salute, and look at that, we got Macho Man at Arms up there bashing Fakir. We've got Stratus, Rey Mysterio taking flight. It's awesome. The packaging is very cool on these, but why don't we go ahead and rip these card backs open and get a closer look at the action figures within. Okay, so before we get to the figures themselves, I do want to point out the cool little mini comics that are included with each figure. Now, they're not full mini comics. They're basically one page, but still, they've got some brand new original artwork. They've got a little bit of dialogue that tells a story of the character. These are absolutely included to feel, again, like the vintage Masters of the Universe toy line that came with mini comics for each character. So you can see each one features some awesome artwork of the signature character right there on the front, along with some of the other characters, usually from the wave or from the toy line in general. And then we've just got this awesome, very bright, very colorful artwork in there, and we've even got little bios on there for each of these characters. Look at that. Look at Macho fighting the King of Kings, Triple H. Very cool. I like these. I think these are a really neat inclusion. It would be cool if they were a little bit longer and actually more stories, few more pages, of course, but I'm just asking for extra stuff at this point. I think it's neat that we did get these included, and I always love looking at the beautiful artwork on these. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in and start taking a look at each of these figures one by one. We'll go ahead and start things off with Roman Reigns. I know, boo, right? Roman Reigns, boo. So these figures, much like the vintage Masters of the Universe toy line, are supposed to be kind of in the 5.5 inch scale. Now you'll notice that they actually stand closer to 6 inches tall. That is, of course, because the vintage He-Man figures had the squat-legged poses, which is what put them at that 5.5 inch mark. These guys have more articulation, so they can stand upright, which puts them closer to the 6 inch mark. And if you haven't already seen any of my videos on the Masters of the WWE Universe figures, one thing worth noting for my fellow Masters of the Universe fans out there is that the body types used on these figures is the same as the upcoming Masters of the Universe Origins toy line, so these share bodies, so they're going to fit in with those, and also they feature the same interchangeability as those are going to. And what do I mean by that? Well, these figures can actually pop apart, not only at the heads. You can see we're just on a ball joint there, so we can pop the heads off, but look at this. The arms can pop out a socket. The hands can pop out at the wrists. These guys are quite interchangeable. You can pull the boots off there. So what's cool about that is if you are a customizer, these are like a mix and match dream come true. If you're somebody who's only interested in the WWE figures, you could eventually get some of the upcoming Masters of the Universe Origins figures and you can swap parts and make your own WWE wrestlers. Or if you want to throw in these WWE guys with your upcoming Masters figures, again, interchangeable parts is going to allow the customizers out there to really have some fun with these. So I think that is a really, really neat feature. Otherwise, these guys feel super solid. Even though they're interchangeable, they don't feel too loose or anything like that. They feel like good figures to even bash around a little bit there. And here's what the articulation looks like. To get this out of the way, all of the figures are going to have the same thing with the ball joint there at the head. You do have really nice ball-like joints there at the shoulders. They can go up, down. They can swivel all around. You've got swivels at the elbow. You've got bends at the elbow. You've got swivels at the wrist. You've got hinges at the wrist. You can swivel at the waist there. You've got those ball-like hinges at the thigh, so legs can go forwards, backwards, outwards. Swivel at the knee, bend at the knee, swivel at the boot cut, and then the ankles can go forwards and backwards, as well as rock side to side. So you've got quite a bit more articulation than the vintage Masters of the Universe toy line. And for those WWE fans out there, you should still be able to have some fun with these guys. So Roman Reigns here, like I said, he's definitely modeled more after Fisto because of his included giant fist accessory, which of course, if you're a WWE fan, you know that that is basically for his Superman punch signature move. So it's a little loose, but it does clip on. So it's on there, but it just kind of feels a little loose once it's on. So this is pretty neat because the figure itself, if you took this off, it doesn't look like a Masters of the Universe figure. It looks like Roman Reigns. Even though the armor that he's wearing is absolutely reminiscent of something you would see on Fisto, it also looks a lot like the kind of flak jacket that Roman Reigns actually wears. And so in this form right here, he just looks like Roman Reigns. So that is an option if you want to display him. Most of the figures in this line can be made to look like regular WWE superstars. So he does have the giant fist, but he does also come with the shield. It is the same as the Origins He-Man shield again. This time it's molded in just a plain silver plastic with no paint. I got a little bit of some wear on the side there already. You can see it's kind of stringing a little bit there. So here's the thing. It clips on his wrist. And it's got a handle so that his hand can go on there. But much like I complained about with Series 1, this particular hand doesn't actually hold on to this very well. With He-Man, he has the open hand and it fits in there better and it actually holds the shield in place. It is very hard to get him to actually grip this handle and then also clip it on his wrist. It really just doesn't work. Now, this looks fine. You can clip it on his wrist and you can't even really tell when it's turned like that, but just something worth noting with that guy. So next up, we've got Rey Mysterio as Stratus. This is brilliant. Stratus's stuff looks like something Rey Mysterio would actually wear at WrestleMania. I mean, I would love to see Rey actually wear this outfit at a future WrestleMania. That would be very, very cool. So it is worth noting that these come in the package off. You have to actually assemble these yourself, which is where the removable wrists come into play. So you can actually slide these armbands right up onto his biceps. You can slide the wings right there over the wrists, and then you can attach the hand just like this, just by popping the peg back in. And we've got ourselves a Rey Mysterio wearing Stratus's gear. Now, if you're a Masters of the Universe Classics collector, the toy line that started in 2008, one of the first figures in that line was Stratus, and they straight are reusing the wings and this backpack here, the jetpack, right from that figure. You definitely recognize it if you were a collector of that line, which totally makes sense, and it fits quite nicely on these new figures. But again, these are removable, so look at this. I can even take off the pack if I wanted to. I can remove that, and you can take off the wings, and then you can kind of have an old school Rey Mysterio, you know, like the shirtless, long tights wearing Rey Mysterio, if you want to just have a regular old Rey Mysterio in your collection. So that is going to bring us to Macho Man Randy Savage, which is modeled after Man-at-Arms. This hands down, my favorite figure in this line so far. It feels like they went above and beyond with this one, to be perfectly honest, because there's a lot of fun things going on here. So first of all, he does have the Man-at-Arms shin guards. In fact, he's got 2 of them. Man-at-Arms only wore 1 of those, but he's got 2 of them. These are removable, so they actually come off the figure in the package. You got to put them on yourself. So you'll notice when you take those off, he's just wearing regular yellow wrestling boots. You'll also notice that his armor is very similar to Battle Armor He-Man's armor, and I expected this to be totally reused from the Classics line, but this does appear to be brand new armor, just styled the same way. The action feature is the same, which I'll show you in just a bit, but it's modeled after that purple shirt, that very, very classic Macho Man shirt, the purple one with the sunglasses on there, which is so very cool. And he does have a battle damage action feature, because he comes with these 2 interchangeable plates where, how genius is this? The sunglasses crack, much like vintage Battle Armor He-Man's armor cracked. It is really cool. Let me show you how to do this real quick, but here's something else I was really shocked by when I pulled this off. The orange bandana that Macho Man is known for wearing, it's a helmet, and it's removable. But look at that. That's essentially a Man-at-Arms helmet, but it's styled like his bandana. Oh my gosh, it's just so cool. Okay, so the head is removable again. Here's something else I thought was funny. The mustache paint goes up all the way under the bottom of the nose. I don't know why I'm pointing that out, but I noticed it when I was removing them. Anyway, you can just take the armor off like this. And then if you want to, you can remove one of those little plates. You can pop in one of the alternate plates. We can put the armor back on the figure. We want to put the back on there first, just like that. We'll pop the head back on, and ooh yeah, we got some battle damage. That is awesome. I think that is just so much fun. And to top things off, Macho also comes with the Man-at-Arms Mace. It is worth noting that the mace is made of a very gummy, very pliable plastic, which I'm never a fan of on weapons. My guess is that it's part of the same mold as the 2 yellow armor pieces that go over the shins, because they're soft and pliable, so that the straps are soft and pliable. But that does unfortunately make the weapon very gummy, and the reason I don't like that is because over time, while this guy is standing on your shelf holding his weapon, gravity is going to win, and this thing is absolutely going to droop. I can tell it's going to happen with this, so that's unfortunate. I definitely don't like that. I understand why it was done. I get it, but it's my least favorite thing about this figure. Otherwise, everything else about him is fantastic. And again, just like I've mentioned with a lot of these other guys, I know I'm spending a lot of time on Macho Man, but seriously, it's a great figure. You can remove the armor. You can remove those shin guards like I showed you. And now you've essentially just got a regular old 5.5-inch Macho Man Randy Savage that you can display. It's awesome. And lastly, we've got our Fakir John Cena, and this is another one that I think is genius. First of all, did you notice that this is our basic Thugonomics version of John Cena? Look at this. He's got the Word Life knuckles. He's got the chain with the padlock around his neck. I love it. These are removable. It's amazing. So you can just pop those right off of the fingers there. They just go over the knuckles. I love them. You also got the chain, which is removable if you want to. He does come with a weapon in the form of Spikor's mace. So again, that looks like that comes straight out of Masters of the Universe Classics. It's a reused weapon. So whatever, spiked mace for John Cena. Why not? So he's molded in a translucent blue plastic. Now, of course, Fakir in the original Masters of the Universe line wasn't translucent blue. But I kind of love this. I love translucent toys. But you know the reason why he's translucent blue? Because you can't see me. Exactly. They made a you can't see me joke. They made him translucent blue. I love it. And it's Fakir after all, right? So if we remove the armor, boom! We've got the little control panel right there on his chest. It's not a sticker. It looks like it's a tampo on the actual figure itself, but it looks a lot like the vintage Fakir tampo. It is awesome. This is another one of my favorite figures in this particular wave. So I do want to show you guys just a few comparisons with these here, because if you haven't caught my previous video, I showed this before and I think it's really cool. I mentioned how most of these guys, you can remove their Masters of the Universe elements and basically make 5.5-inch scaled regular WWE superstars. Well, these fit in great with lines like the vintage AWA toy line. So if you just like that figure style, this is pretty cool too. It's another way that you could display these guys. Of course, I also want to show them next to their Masters of the Universe counterparts, just so you could see where all of the inspirations came from for all of these different crossovers. And this line's roster is getting pretty big at this point. We're only 2 waves in, plus there was the ring with the 2 bonus figures. So as you can see, we've got a pretty packed ring here, our Castle Grayskull ring that's got just a really cool, colorful cast of wrestlers on this awesome Masters of the Universe roster. I think this is a really fun toy line, and I know that there's even more of these already planned. I'm having a lot of fun with them, so I am excited to see what else Mattel is going to do with these particular figures. So once again, I have to give a very special thanks to the folks at Mattel who did send these along so I can get a good look at them here out of the package on this video for you guys. These are at retail stores right now. They are exclusive to Walmart, and many people have been finding them. I've seen it all over social media. I know they've been a bit hard to hunt down. Wave 1 seems like it took forever to show up, so when you guys have the opportunity to get out and do some toy shopping again, be sure to check your Walmarts, and hopefully you guys can add these to your collection. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, my friends.